What is up, everybody? Today we are checking out the Kernom Ridge. What is this thing? Well, it's an overdrive, but it's an extremely versatile overdrive, and I think it, in my humble opinion, it is a very unique overdrive. There's a technology on it that they're calling analog morphing core technology, and it essentially allows you to just go from all kinds of different types of clipping, from hard clipping to soft clipping to asymmetrical to symmetrical and everything in between. You can just kind of morph into all these different clipping options via this control on the top of the pedal called the mood control. And it allows you to kind of go from like a very clean open sound with maybe not any clipping to very light clipping, and then you can go from that to like a transparent, really dynamic overdrive, and then you can go to a more pronounced, more kind of colored sounding overdrive, and we'll hear all this in the demo. And then you can go to like high gain, where it really is kind of high gain overdrive, and then all the way over to almost fuzz like in character, and we'll listen to that. But that's a really cool setting. I played around the most with that, just kind of morphing in and out of certain sounds without even touching the EQ. So speaking of EQ, let's just talk about what's on the pedal. I already went through the mood switch. We'll check that out in the demo, or I should say mood control. On the bottom here, you've got your post tone and your pre-tone. The pre-tone is pre the clipping stages, so it's going to have a characteristic. And then the post tone is happening after clipping, so it's going to have a characteristic. We'll definitely get into how both those sound in the demo. Very, very usable. You have your mid control. That's self-explanatory. We'll check that out in the demo. Of course, your volume, so you can go well above unity gain and hit the amp harder. You guys know how that works. And then of course your drive is the amount of drive, and that will obviously vary depending where you are with that mood control. And then you do have on-off switch, which is obvious, but there's also a switch on here called preset that's really cool. And I'm just going to do it on the fly. I haven't even tried it yet. I'm just going to see how easy it is, because it sounds like it's really easy, but it allows you to toggle between essentially two settings. So you could have one setting that's kind of your clean, always on setting, and then you can hit the preset button and you can nail like a solo tone, or maybe you just want the whole thing bumped up, or whatever it may be. I'm going to try that on the fly and see how that works, because that's a really cool idea. You do have MIDI in and out. There's a ton. If you want to take advantage of this pedal completely, by all means use a MIDI controller, and you can take tons and tons of advantage of just all the different sounds you could call up programmably. Probably, I'm guessing 127 or something like that. I'm not going to do that in this demo. There's guys that have done with this pedal that killed that, so I'm going to pass on that. But you do have MIDI in and out. Of course, there's your 9-volt DC. You do have an expression pedal in and out, which is really cool. You could actually use an expression pedal to morph into, say, a toggling preset. I won't do that in this demo, but that's a really cool idea and a really nice feature. So you can go from being more like a guy like me, I just like to have everything in front of me with maybe a couple options, all the way to the guy that wants, I need 30 different sounds for this set. I need to be able to go through them. Or I really want to be able to morph in real time between different mood settings, or presets, I should say. So it's a really cool feature. I'm really impressed with this enclosure. It's really heavy. It looks like it's one piece. But anyways, without further yammering on, as I tend to do, let's check out the Kernom Ridge. Okay, let's check this thing out. Here's just the guitar into the amp. And here is the Kernom Ridge. Okay, so just noodling around, changing some controls. I really wanted to showcase just this mood control, this kind of analog morphing through all the clipping stages thingy that they've done so well on this. You know, I can pretty much roll through this setting and then just do minor tweaks on, you know, pre and post tone and mids to get, you know, where I want to land as far as tones. So let's just do this. I don't want to take too long on this. I mean, there's so many different things you can do with this pedal, but I do like that kind of first always on, I'll call it that, setting. In this particular setting or mood, it really doesn't add much clipping. It's little, like almost none or a little bit. And I really like this as almost an always on setting. So that's pretty cool. As you keep moving up, if we get into this next mode here, or I should say mood, it becomes more of kind of a dynamic overdrive. It's punchy, not a ton of gain, but it's definitely more punchy. Backs off really great. And like I said, I'm doing just subtle moves here to get kind of dialed in. So let's go to this next mode, which is going to have more, it's going to be more colored. It won't be quite as transparent. Keep saying mode, but mood. That's sounding a little more kind of colored in nature. Not necessarily more gain though. That sounds cool. Let's go to the next mood, which is going to be kind of the higher gain overdrive. way up into this kind of fuzz territory. And it sounds like there's a gate. So it feels pretty squishy, definitely has more of kind of that fuzz kind of thing to it. So once again, you know, I just rolled through all of this doing minor tweaks. Let's stay in this mode and I'll just let you guys hear these EQs. The way I perceive these is the pre-tone is definitely, obviously it's pre-clipping, it's definitely way more active than the post-tone. And you'll hear that as I roll them. And then of course, you know, we'll listen to the mid, but let's just check out the pre-tone. Let's use this sound. So it's adding as it's cutting on both sides, right? Bass and like top end. So it's definitely active. Very usable. Now let's check out the post tone, which will be less active. All the way off, it will get dark. Then all the way up. So I kind of look at that as more kind of the airiness of the pedal is kind of how I view this post tone. It's kind of to each his or own, you know, his or her own, but that's how I view that. Let's check out the mid control. It's flat. As you roll it up, it definitely becomes a little bit more of a barky mid. It does create gain, which I always appreciate on a mid control, but that's my own personal taste. But that's how the EQ section sounds. Obviously, the volume. If we want to push the amp harder, get above unity gain, you know, you guys know how that works. And then, of course, the drive range really just depends on what mode you're in. If we go to the higher gain, let's try the overdrive. Needless to say, it's definitely got, you know, a broad range of just drive from really clean, you know, the way I was showing it to you guys, with just a little bit of clipping all the way up to higher gain and even kind of fuzz tones. So the last thing I want to show you, and it's something I haven't even tried, is this preset. And what it allows you to do is you can pick like a favorite setting and then be able to toggle between that and how the setup is on the top of the box. So I'm just going to try it. I think I'm going to dial this in for like a solo tone. Now to save it, you just hold down preset and then let it go. Now I should be able to maybe go to a different setting for like kind of a cleaner. And then hit the preset. There's my high gain tone. So now I can make the cleaner sound even cleaner. And then there's my preset for solo. That's a really cool feature. I thought that was, and it's really easy to use because, as I mentioned before, you can go, sky's the limit as far as taking advantage of the complexities via MIDI that this pedal's capable of. But at the same time, it's nice to be able to just toggle between like a bass tone and a solo tone or whatever it is you're wanting to create. It's obviously quite easy, as I just kind of tried it on the fly and it worked out. So that is the Kernom Ridge Overdrive. If you've got any other questions about it and you really want to dig deep, definitely go to the website. Check it out. Find out all you need to know there. As always, I really appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you next time.